Hey everyone, welcome back to Control. We've made it to the NSC power plant, which, as you might be able to tell by the alarm blaring in the background, is not in good shape. It's going to overheat and explode if we can't fix the coolant pumps and the energy converters. But I'm sure we've got time to explore the room that it's in, because this place is huge. It's this giant circular room with these bottomless pits everywhere. I really don't understand a lot of the geography of this building, but that's kind of the point. We can't get to the elevator from here, but we can check out this shelter that I passed on the way in. There's always something to collect in the shelters. Occasionally you'll also find documents, and I doubt that health boost is better than the one I've already got equipped. That way leads back to ventilation, so I'll just head on to one of the other sectors now. She's a lot more polite now that she knows who I am. So we got two different ways we can go. I think I'm going to hit the coolant pumps first. That just seems like the more important of the two objectives. Plus it's on the top of my list. So there's the cooling water pipe. Guess nothing's running through it now. There we go. I figured there were going to be enemies. And these guys are coming through the door from the pumps. And they explode when you kill them. Perfect. And I need to kill 19 more of these things without dying. Okay, that was a really delayed reaction, but I think it worked. That wasn't actually one of the enemies exploding, that was the forklift. And strangely enough, yeah, these things have heads. Those are actually human forms, bent forwards. I realize that I'm probably staying at too safe a distance, but I really don't want to have to start over on my 50. I guess I moved out of their range and they just despawned right in front of me. I have no idea whether that resets the counter for how many of them are going to appear. I think one of them might have snuck up behind me. But fortunately, their blast radius is not that big, so as long as I can keep them at a distance, I'll be safe. Again, much more cautious than I would normally be here, because I'm 10 away. And I got nowhere to go. But I think I despawned it just as it was about to explode. Hey, if a game gives me a mechanic like that, I'm going to exploit it. This is how I got through Dark Souls. I love the aim and auto-tracking on the launch. I think the count is resetting every time I run out of range, so I'm kind of glad I stayed in range this time. And while I did say earlier that evasion is optional, you absolutely want to have it when fighting these. Okay, that's the last of them, and I did pick up a document telling me what they are, so let's check that out before I move on. Is charged, basically the suicide bomber enemies. Once you get the ability to throw them at other enemies, that's really cool. But having met a couple of my board countermeasures along the way, I'm going to go cash those in before we continue. probably a mod that I'm never going to use, but I'm still glad I managed to finish that mission. So, executive incursion always means you gotta kill enemies in the executive sector. I won't be going back there for quite a while, so I'm gonna take the 2 enemies that I know actually appear in this sector. Hopefully I can kill enough of them and move on to some other countermeasures before I go to places where I would need to use them. And I killed those guys all over the place, so I have no idea where the materials are going to have ended up. Plus, there might be some item crates. It doesn't look like it. And along this wall, the only way that we can progress is toward the coolant pumps. No elevator doors, no safe rooms. And the furnace chamber is going to be over here too. First, small, inconsequential room with moderately useful pickup.
Power cut. Replace the parts.
Yeah, this is kind of a weird tutorial for picking up these power bricks and attaching them to the ports. That's basically what we're going to be doing this entire sector. And when you see the enemies floating before you enter a room, you can usually get a couple of pot shots on them before they start attacking you. So these aren't Hiss guards. I don't know quite what type of enemies they are. This one comes around the corner. Oh, hey, there's a Hiss elevated over there. You remember those, right? This is the same type of enemy as Tomasi, but with a lot less health. Yeah, perhaps if I'd launched that satellite dish sooner, I would have been able to hit him from behind. You can hit them if they don't see it coming, but usually the launch is ineffective against them. And the coolant pumps are a little further on, but the furnace chamber is off to the side, so let's take care of this side mission. Yeah, Ati left his cart with the radio on again so that we'd know where to go. And we gotta clean up the trash. Guess that's this.
By trash, did Ati mean barrels full of hazardous biological material? Seems like I'm breaking some environmental regulations on waste disposal, but if that's what Ati wants, then I'll get it done.
Not what I wanted to grab. The downside with having to use telekinesis to move things around is that it consumes half my energy bar each time I use it. So grab one wrong thing and I'm completely wasted until I can recharge.
My name is Dr. Pierce, lead researcher of the Parakinesiology Department. I believe I've discovered a Code Omega paranatural entity residing within the Bureau itself, right under our noses. Darling refused to allocate me the budget or resources, so I'm taking matters into my own hands. Let this recording be the proof I need to convince them. The furnace can speak. It's been talking to me for some time now. Listen. Did you hear that? It's a sentient force capable of communicating. I checked and there's no record of ever installing this furnace. I believe that... Oh, sorry. What? Yes, I can feed you. What do you eat? I see. I'll try to find some volunteers.
Well, that's not just the tiniest bit worrying. I assume that's a poster with instructions for safe furnace handling, but can't read it from there. Nah, it's a pneumatic tube checklist. So I'm just going to steer well clear of the furnace. Throw these things in from a safe distance. That's half of them. I'm sure some of them will be downstairs. Well, we've also got these big wind tunnels up there, and that one's got a door in it. Now, even though I know I won't be able to open the door, I do still want to try to get up there. For some reason, I don't seem to be able to grab the platform from that angle. But there's a catwalk up this way. This might be doable. Guess I'll give it a try. I mean, there's a barrel over there. I don't actually need to be up here to grab the barrel. I could grab it from the catwalk. But, just wanted to show you how dodge works to get you to places you can't otherwise reach. I think I'll take the stairs. Jumping into unknown territory can be dangerous. I want to believe that's the same guy that was complaining about the bathrooms earlier, but probably not. It would just be cool if every complaint in the game was from the same guy. Now, I don't feel like carrying this all the way up, so I can just throw it, and then sprint up the staircase, which you can't do while you're carrying something, and just pick it up when I get here. For whatever reason, these barrels are not volatile, unless introduced to fire. So there's one more that I gotta find. I don't see it anywhere. I'm sure all of you are Blue's Clues yelling at your monitors right now. I can't imagine that it's up there, especially since it's nearly impossible to get up there because Jessie has no idea how to climb a stepladder. I mean, I try not jumping, but she'll just vibrate on the stair forever. I think I can make it from here. And it's just an item crate and a walkway that overlooks the control point that we were at before. I don't think there's anything productive that I can do down there. Nothing that I can get to from here, so I've just got to work out where that last barrel is. Okay, that was way too dramatic. Especially since I don't think I would have taken any damage from that fall. Alright, so I think it has to be... yeah, it wouldn't be so close to the fire, especially since you can't even see anything up there. Seems like it's got to be down below. Alright, gotta check every corner. Oh, there it is. And once again, I'll just toss it up and follow it myself.
That's all of them.
Not a bad reward, even if I don't know what we really ultimately accomplished here. Do want to check out some of the mods that I've picked up, though, since I'm probably going to end up using Shatter a bit more than I might like. Doing extra damage is good, because this gun is going to be my main damage dealer until I've got something with a bit more punch. Or upgraded grip. Let's use those ability points. Yeah, I can't upgrade any of my base stats. I could go for launching basic enemies, but I don't think that's going to be all that useful immediately. I think just doing more damage in general is going to be better. The enemies die pretty quickly now anyway. When they've got more health, it'll be easy to get them to low health and then launch them. So we seem to be in some kind of natural cavern.
I don't like that sound.
And there's a passage up there that I'm not going to get to anytime soon. Okay, so that was a guard. I don't know who these other guys are. Yeah, I'm sure I've got a document that tells me. Alright. How'd you get behind me? I guess he must have been in that passage that I passed. Anyway, not a very difficult fight, at least. Don't know what's down there. Don't want to find out. Now, last we've reached the coolant pumps, and all we gotta do is attach the power bricks to the conduits. But for some reason, the enemies wait until we've done that to spawn in. And with the camera right in my head, it's hard to see them coming. The difficulty in this fight is that we've got two staircases. We've got to guard them both so we don't get flanked. But it looks like most of the enemies are content to come at us from the right side. So I'm going to cut left and rely on their fortunately poor aim for the moment. I think they'll be able to aim a lot better later in the game. Okay, it sounds like I've dealt with all of them. The second power conduit is up here. And fortunately, we don't have to carry the bricks with us, they just put some next to each slot. Now we got guys with shields. I suppose I could throw power bricks at them, but with the extra damage that I just got, anything will kill pretty much any enemy I fight in one hit. Where is this guy? Oh, okay. He's in the corner. And I just missed. Okay, the auto-aim on launch is not as generous as I thought. You do at least have to point in the general direction of the enemy. Well, having the high ground does afford some degree of cover. Guess the last one's way down on the ground as well. Let's see if I can find him, because I don't want to have to deal with him while dealing with a third power conduit. And there's a mod. You know, energy boost was one of my standbys my first time through the game. I might not bother with it this time. And the final power conduit's right over here. It's open. I should be able to use it.
Shit. What now?
My old enemy, the Clog, is blocking the pipes. You need to deal with that shit. He is very clever. He's trying to sneak in. He got him caught with his hand in the fish trap. Get rid of him.
Alright, presumably I shoot the big glowing points. Alright, I did not think it was going to do that.
What the hell is that? Oh, that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't know why they've got their cooling water running through what appears to be the sewers. But that's how it works, I guess. Every time you shoot all the glowing bits, the clog retreats and you can move through the pipes. But then it spews this stuff everywhere. I won't survive another hit from that, so I'm gonna have to time things carefully. And snipe from around cover whenever I can. I think if you destroy enough of the glowing points, it actually removes the spout, whatever the heck you'd call the bit that spits all that stuff. So at least it's safe to deal with. But it doesn't have glowing eyes on every surface, so sometimes you just gotta run past when it's not spitting. It's fortunately generous with the timing. And this time it just disappears as I shoot it. And finally descends out of sight, out of mind, and out of our pipes. Good riddance. I saw an item crate back over this way. Another mod for spin. I guess I'll have to build that at some point soon. And that's everything in the pipeworks. I don't think I ever need to come back here.
Just hold together a little longer. There go the pipes. Nothing more satisfying than manual labor.
Alright, so that's half of our objective done in the maintenance sector. The red glow coming from over there is not friendly, but the elevator to the power plant is coming down. There's just somebody already using it. Somebody with a Gatling gun or similar. I actually realized I forgot to come up this way. I wonder if maybe that has something to do with where the executive bathroom in the executive sector disappeared. Anyway, this is a trooper with a name. One of the toughest enemies I think we're going to be fighting in the early part of the game. I'd love to be able to throw stuff at him, but it's hard to aim from this angle, and my gun is going to do nothing against that shield. I think I have to use telekinesis, which means getting down to the ground where I actually have some maneuverability. Alright. At the very least, every hit is going to do a ton of damage. And once the shield is down, my gun actually becomes effective. I'm pretty sure this guy can also throw grenades. I don't know why he's not doing that. Really gotta go for those headshots and get the extra damage. And recognize that my cover is not as solid as it looks. You know, I think the Shatter with the damage upgrade is going to work really well. Alright, one more round of this ought to take him out. I was actually not expecting to win that on the first try. Yeah, they're going to be regular enemies too, but fortunately they don't appear very often. Having dealt with him, we're heading straight back to the power plant. And as you can probably guess, we're going to be unlocking elevators all over the place that will lead us back to where we started. Granted, the control points also work for fast travel, but elevators are usually faster within the same sector. We're back here, and it looks like the good guys are actually engaged in combat. And we got some demolition experts to fight. Good for countermeasures, not so good if you're trying not to get blown up. And sadly, I don't think there are any specific rewards for protecting the good guys. Not that I'm likely to be able to do that anyway. It's just kind of friendly to have some more targets for the enemies to aim at. And now we've got a named hiss, so another tough fight. 2 named hiss, it looks like. And hiss charged coming from behind. So, gotta take that guy out so I can actually deal with them. No, you don't. Couldn't grab the rocket fast enough. I think the lady that was guarding that gate might be dead now. And I don't know whether she respawns if I leave and come back. At least this guy's okay. I don't see any other pickups that they dropped. It's all health, so probably go ahead and end it here after I cash out. I've never noticed the recoil to be all that much of an issue with the Shatter. And let's just see if I've got enough stuff to actually upgrade anything. Not quite. One more Ritual Impulse and I can make the spin. So, I'm sure I'll be doing that in the next episode, before or after fixing the energy converters. See you then.